Hi, David. How are you?
Hello. Very well, thank you.
I'm on my phone. I'm on my cell. So if my sound's not good, let me know. I can try and bring it closer.
No, that's fine.
So
I heard you were officially named as a super soldier. Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah. So it's yeah, Drago Reid coming out and saying that I'm the dyad. The other half of him was I wasn't sure if he was going to do it or not because we've known that for about 4 months. We've known that for sure. We've had it confirmed in the military files with the ACIO. And I wasn't sure if he was going to publicly come out and say it, but it looks like he's done a lot of feeling into it, and he's got memories that we've not talked about, and stuff like that. So we only really talk when I get like a flash vision come in or something. But when he did mention something that I thought was really interesting, and he said that his neural link came on in 6 months ago, and 6 months ago was when he came into my awareness when I was talking to Audrey Walters, and she just because I said I was looking to get a regression done, and she said, "Oh, you should talk to Drago." And I was like, "No, I just don't like. Not that I didn't like him, but there was a resistance there. I wasn't drawn to him." And
Hmm.
but at the same time, he was having an activation with his neural link. So I wonder if that's because I'd kind of come online a little bit then. And then in February, that's when everything started to uncover, and then we had a connection then, and we did a Zoom together, and there is a massive connection. And I actually felt like I got a piece of me back, is how I felt. Like my energy totally changed, and yeah, it was really interesting. So yeah, so I'll be talking about that a little bit tonight on the Typical Skeptic. But I wanted to ask you, do you know much about the super soldiers being made in pairs?
Um, I mean, are we talking about like having one soul fractured into different bodies or being paired up as in super soldiers, just forming relationships?
As in, like two of them going through the same programs at the same time, the same augmentations, working together on missions as a duo, as a dyad.
They do that in certain pairs, yes. They
Yeah,
find that certain pairs do work very well together. That's not just as of, partners, but in general that they're able to amplify and work together very well. Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean that does
It,
happen.
yeah,
Um,
it does seem to me that's the case with us. But there's also like we're linked telepathically, and there's when I was talking to Christy Campbell about it, I've got a memory of running, but it's not me running, it's him running, but I'm seeing through his eyes.
that would be the
So
link.
yeah, so it's like I'm navigating in some way, and he's boots on the ground. So I have had a vision like that. So we work together as a pair. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Yeah.
It was weird that you mentioned that because one of the stories I wrote about was a pair of people that were created specifically to work together like that. I didn't under This was before I knew about the SSP. This was just for me doing a short story, and I was telling someone
Mm.
about this, and they go, "Oh, that's what they do in the SSP," and I'm like, "Damn it, that wasn't even my idea then." I was like, I
Oh,
thought it was a good idea too. I was
did
like,
you remember it? Yeah.
I spent a lot of time reading that and writing that down. I came up with
Yeah.
designs for characters and everything.
Yeah. One of the things he said was that I was here. He just said I was one of, so he knows he's got more. He's got other like trauma twins or whatever. But he said that I was his anchor, also called a trauma twin, and he's got a memory of seeing that we're both in pods facing each other, and he can see and feel that I'm being tortured and things like that. Whereas I've got, because once he said that, I did get a flash. We were about 7 or 8 years old, whereas normally I see us as adults. So I don't have that many memories of me and him being young together. But I
Okay.
know that there was different ages of us used in different programs at the same time, and different ages of us used in the same program at the same time. Where sometimes we'd be the scientist and sometimes we'd be the subject working on versions of us, which is not meant to happen because the energetic anomaly of you coming together with different clone aspects of you, it's very uncomfortable. So I'm not sure how they got around that. But yeah,
And how
so
do you
that's
feel about
interesting.
all that?
Pardon?
How do you feel about all of this?
How do I feel about it? All right, actually. I disassociate very easily. So, and I've been processing this for 4 months. I've been processing. I've only got a few memories of like seeing him in front of me or knowing that I'm looking through his eyes and things like that. And so the main was I knew that I was strapped to the table and he was opposite me, but he was inactive. And then another time I had a similar memory come in working with Christy, and it was like we were both being fed intravenously some kind of serum or something to rebuild, like after a mission or something like that. And then I've had a couple of months ago, I had a vision come in, but it was a screen that opened and I could see one of his clones. It was like I was monitoring a clone in the here and now. And I even tracked down where it was, which was a bit weird. And so there's things like that. So I seem to be more connected to the clone aspects of both of us than maybe he's aware of at this time.
Well,
So
that
we
would
both
go
have
into
different.
your category. What is it?
Yeah.
Your record keeping thing in your science.
Yeah.
That's
So
what that would
he's
be.
because on his interview he talks about being an architect and things like that, and so he's very much focused on the reverse engineering and creation of technology, whereas I'm more on the genetics and record side of things. So I guess we complement each other that way. um but the latest thing that I discovered, I've had a session with Sean Bond. So I'm really having to do a lot of healing work on this next one. So it wasn't so much SSP stuff, it was more about the Draco Lyran wars that's come up. But I did want to talk about the SSP stuff. I wanted to talk about the Dark Fleet stuff because I don't know much about the Nacht Waffen. What do you remember about that?
Like what their founding or mission
Just
specific
your
or
experiences.
well, from what I've been able to piece together, I was kind of there when we left the planet and broke away. Um, I remember being on the missions. Like I said, when we first started in that world, we were literally nothing more than Draco errand boys.
Hmm.
Like we were the mercenaries for the Draco. And once we took that ship, the one with all the star seeds on it, that's what made the SSP. That's what made
Right.
the first one. Um, Now, are you asking about like what would like our day to day be like,
Yeah,
or
I'm really interested in just like what it would feel to be out there and what kind of experiences you remember about like relationships or names or anything at all that makes it more real in your mind. Does that
well,
make
most of
sense?
my memories of them are basically doing horrible things to either ETs or having them done to me. As
Yeah.
far as names go, that's the one area I'm completely lacking in.
Okay.
I know events, I can describe what happened, but if you're asking me like to tell you what planet or who I was with, I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you the name.
No.
It was we didn't, well, for me, because like I said, I was an officer, and it's different for officers versus enlisted people.
Mm.
But officers, especially, if you're doing well, you can have a nice life. You can have a very comfortable life, and a
Mm.
lot of people don't want to give that up. That's just
Yeah.
basic nature. But to get those nice, comfortable lives, we had to do a lot of things that were not good.
Mm.
Um, we were basically just a military force out there that was trying to accumulate power. We would go into um, systems, disrupt them. We would do assassinations. Sometimes we worked for the world. We worked. That's the thing. We worked with and for pretty much every single person that could afford or trade with us. Like if they had something of
Right.
value, even though that they would like publicly disavow us and say we were the worst things in the entire world, when the
Mm.
time came, they would call us and we would do the jerk.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you remember looking the same? Were you still in the same humanoid body, or did you look different?
I had a bunch of different bodies. Um, it was, well, I know they cloned a version of me now because I met
Mm.
that one, but they did put me in other bodies. Part of the thing was like I was an adult, but they took me when I was a child, so they aged me and they
Mm.
fractured me.
Yeah.
So basically what they would do is sometimes like I would picture me as like I don't want to say like a 65-year-old man, but they would de-age me to whatever body I needed to be
You're
in.
not 65, are you?
God, no, no. I'm only 42.
Okay, sorry. I'm 50 this year, so.
No, it's just that because of all the cloning and stuff like that, a
Yeah.
lot of the people don't look their actual age.
We're like millions of years old. That's what I've come to realize, especially working with Sean Bond, who's like as
Yeah.
old as the galaxy. Like, what the hell? Yeah.
Well, there are versions of us, yeah. I mean, especially when you
Mm.
then you go out of time and start
Yeah.
doing all that operating there. So between the time travel and cloning, yeah, it gets, we were out there for a while. I recently found out because I was trying to figure out how many tours I did or how long I was there. And I asked my team and they said, no, you were up there for eight times. And I said, 8 times? Really? I fell for that 8 times.
Yeah.
So do you think like maybe ninth time they're going to keep the word? And they're all just shaking in their head going, they're not going to keep
But
their.
from what I'm learning of people in the community, it was never just a single 20 and back or 60 and back.
Oh,
It was
no.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And then, so someone like,
Yeah, we literally made an empire.
yeah,
I mean that people don't understand how powerful the SS. I keep calling it the SSP, but it's not. It was an Nacht Waffen. It split up into different factions. Then other countries started putting their own people up there. So there's a lot of humans out in space.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
the everyone always says like, oh, I did 120 and back. I was like, very rarely do they do 120 and back. They're not gonna if they took the
yeah,
time and effort to take you, train you, and put you in 21 year, they're not letting you go that easy. You have
yeah.
to
I
like
agree.
really
I agree.
unless you screwed up so bad that they don't want to deal with you, that would be the only way that they would do it. But I guarantee you they would punish you worse for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Even talking about it, like my voice is starting to, so it's like this energy's coming off as we're talking about it. So I'm still quite new processing stuff. Like I've got memories from a couple of years ago, but I didn't have the context until like quite recently to be able to understand, oh, okay, that makes sense then why I stole that spaceship and killed
You
everybody. Okay.
froze.
Oh, have I frozen? Can you hear me?
Hello?
I'm still here.
Internet
Can you
man,
hear
I'm not in
me?
the mood for this.
Hold on. Can you hear me? You frozen now. Okay.
You
Okay,
there?
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that,
Yeah.
man.
Okay. So I'm on my cell hoping that my internet's better than normal. But yeah, so I'm starting to get the context of my stuff. But I don't know much about the Dark Fleet, and I just wondered because it's like so I grew up watching Star Trek Next Generation, and for me that's very comforting, right? I
Right.
that's yeah. But when I tried to watch Star Wars, I couldn't get into it at all. It's very uncomfortable, and I never knew why. I always just thought I was a Star Trek person and not a Star Wars person. But now I realise that Star Wars is more of the documentary. Um, so how true is that as a documentary?
Well, I mean, I don't remember Darth Vader walking around. I do remember a bunch of dark entities and stuff like that. Um, I didn't really deal with the political side of it. I was more of the tactical side. So I was
Mm,
on missions and doing that stuff, and I really didn't care about that. Um, but as far as what I've been able to piece together, yeah, they kind of it's like a loose interpretation of it. I mean, some events definitely didn't happen, and I don't remember a bunch of incompetent stormtroopers who can't shoot for anything. I don't remember those. I remember a very highly trained fleet that was very dangerous and respected by most
yeah.
people, even though if they didn't like them, they were like, you just don't mess with those people. That's what I remember.
Mm.
I remember some of the training facilities, off planet and stuff like that. Like I said, I
So
don't have,
would that have been on Mars training facility? Do you think? Yeah.
yeah.
Because I think I do have one. It could have been the moon, but I really think it was Mars. I
Do you
know,
have any memories of any dog people?
as in like standing up dog people.
They would
No, I
be,
don't. I don't.
okay, they
But
would be Doberman looking, like they would be kind, you know what Doberman looks like?
yes, no,
They
I
would be
don't
looking
have
like
memories of
Dober.
that. But in my military files with the ACAO, it talks about having a dog that has a human soul inside, and that would be in my lab with me, monitoring me.
Okay, that
So,
might be what
but
they were saying.
yeah,
Because
but
I do,
actual
from what I
like a race
understand,
of
those,
dog people in uniform. No, I
yeah,
don't. I don't have that memory yet. But I know people do, right?
yeah. Well, I've
Yeah.
met a few of them, and for the most part, they're not the wild, like feral dog people that we hear about on the online. Those aren't.
Mm.
I haven't dealt with those. The ones I have dealt with are highly intelligent, highly disciplined, highly trained. Uh,
Yeah.
I remember I was trying to learn more about them. So I had mentioned the Dogmen before in a couple of my interviews. And I was like, you know what? I really don't know much about them. So I tried to go find the one who showed up to talk to me.
Mm.
And I found him. and then I astral traveled to where he was, and I went to his office. He has a nice desk, and he has a couple pictures of his family on his desk or people important, and he's writing on it. And he looks up and he goes, he kind of just gives me that, "Ugh, what do you want?" And I'm like,
Okay.
well, I'd like to learn more about you. And he goes, I'm busy. I'm going, can you send someone to tell me more about you? So, he goes, will you get you to leave me alone? If they're
You know,
truthful, yeah, sure, you can do it. He goes, fine, I'll send someone.
I've just realized something that we've been conditioned for Lyratans. We've been
Thank you.
conditioned with the Thundercats, right?
Oh, they're
So
fucking awesome.
when I was a kid, it was all about Thundercats. I even had the sword. So we've been conditioned to see like cat-faced people, but not so much dog-faced people. So when you talk about dogmen, it just makes me laugh a little bit because I haven't had the same conditioning. But Thundercats, yeah, I totally buy into that.
It's funny you should mention that because I was just talking to someone about the Dogman, and he's like, so like, would they play cards and stuff? And I'm like, I'm like, no, it's a little bit more serious than that, but
Okay, I can't drink. But that's what we've been conditioned is to sitting around playing poker.
Yeah, like no, but they were very elite fighting force and well respected and highly.
Yeah.
I mean, one time I actually had a problem with one of them. Actually, it was I was going through a process of going through my emotions, so I wasn't 100% myself, and I
Mm,
started launching out and attacking. And the
mm,
Lyrans were calling me, telling me you need to calm down. And I was like, you guys have lied to me too long. I mean, I was a
mm.
little bit out of it. And they said, listen, we're telling you this is the last time. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
I said, what are you going to do about it?
Mm,
And they sicked the dogs on me. They literally had the three to four Doberman people show up
mm.
and surround me.
Yeah.
And I remember getting really more pissed off at them. I'm going, you little punk bitch, you sick the dogs on me. And he's like, you need to calm down. And then the next thing they did was they surrounded me, and they had this, they activated a device, and I couldn't form a thought. Like they were literally shutting me down. And I kept, fighting them and more, and I was getting more aggressive. And they kept telling me the entire time, it's like, just calm down and go to sleep. Please, we don't want any problems. Just go to sleep.
Wow.
And so I'm like, finally, fighting with them, and I'm realizing this isn't working. So I'm just going to go to sleep. And I'm
Mm,
going to sleep, and they're still like hovering around me, making sure I can't hold a thought. Like I literally couldn't form a thought to defend myself. And I made the comment to them as I'm going to bed, and they said, just go to bed. And I said, well, aren't you a good little doggy? And he got up and just punched me right in the stomach.
oh, wow. Okay.
And he hit me really hard. And then, unfortunately, the moonlight also snapped me back. And I said to him, I said, I expect nothing less from you. Good job. And went to sleep. And he's like, just go to bed already and recover yourself. But yeah,
Gosh.
I mean, so
So
like I said,
how
those
similar are
ones,
the dogman people? How similar are they to like the dogs that we have on this planet?
I mean, I didn't rub his belly if that's what you're asking, or play fetch with him. That would be.
Like, do they have an alpha? Like,
Yes,
are they in
there
packs?
is
Yeah.
yeah, but it's that would be a little bit
They're like,
insulting to them.
yeah,
Like throw a tennis ball, that's a little insulting to them.
yeah, that's funny. They're
But from
easily
what I
distracted with
understand,
the ball.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Because I know a lot of people talk about Dogman in America and it's like a really aggressive cryptid or something like that. But
Yeah,
then off
I think
planet, there's
those are
just
the
some,
more feral ones, or like
yeah,
primitive ones. These ones are actually have had time to develop.
yeah. So do
And like I
you
said,
feel that I've got a connection to the female dog lady?
female dog lady.
Yeah, because you just said about Dogman, but female. Do I
I never met.
remember?
Oh, actually, that's not
No.
true. I met two female dog people once. It was interesting because the one I met literally looked like a Shiba Inu, but
I have a friend who has dogs like that. Yeah.
yeah, she literally looked like a Shiba Inu, but she was wearing a kimono and was kind of a little chunkier.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
And I was saying something, and she starts telling me, "Don't you talk back?" And then I instantly realized she was an ant.
Oh.
And I'm
Okay.
like, oh, okay. And she just gave me that look of, don't you, I raised you better than that. I'm like, yes, you did. Wait, who are you? I know you. Because like,
Oh wow.
I don't have full memories of everything I meet with them. It's like, I know you. Where do I know you from? And then I have to
Yeah.
remember, is it that life? Is it that life? Is it that life? Is it that life? And they're like,
Oh, that's
no, it's
awesome.
this one. And it
Mm.
gets frustrating for them too, because they, from their perspective, they're like, we served with you for decades. How do you not remember us?
Yeah.
I'm like, they did a really good job of wiping my memory. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a lot of mind wipes, it appears. And the last one
Yeah.
was supposed to have been very aggressive.
I had
Um,
an interesting encounter yesterday with some
oh yeah.
reptilians who want to hear about it.
Yes, I do. I do. And just to confirm that the two Dracos that were with me last time are apparently Draco Guard that I've assigned myself in my Draco form.
Yeah, that seems right. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I got that from a mixture of Audrey and Sean Bond recently.
yeah.
So yeah, go on,
Well,
tell me
Sean's
about your
very good.
experience. Oh my, he's amazing. But
Yes.
the last video we did together, I'm going to be working with that for the rest of the year. I think it was so advanced. And he
Yeah.
said to me, "Well, we can look into this, but there's a label on it, a warning label. But you're okay. You know how to counter suicide programs and counter death programs, don't you?" And I just looked at him like, "No."
Well,
And
you
he's like,
did.
"Oh,
I can tell right away it's in you, but you just don't have access to it.
yeah." So he just kind of assumes that everyone's got access to everything like he has.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, "But the information was there, but there was a big warning label on the file." And he was reading it out to me. How cool is that? And he's like, "Well, yeah, there's threat of death. So we can proceed if you want to." And I was like, "No, we better not." Yeah.
All
So
right.
what
So
happened recently? Yeah.
I got contacted yesterday by a small reptile being. He identified himself as a, what did I say it was? A Zahaz or a Zaz. And he
That
starts
sounds
talking to
familiar.
me
Why does that sound familiar?
because you probably dealt with them a lot. They work for the Draco.
Okay.
But it's spelled Zahaz or Zaz, depending on the pronunciation.
I wrote it down as Zaas.
If that's how you could spell it, that works for you
Ah,
too.
interesting. Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
I spell horribly, so it doesn't really matter. So anyway, he starts talking to me, and one of the things he says is, he goes, "Why do you reject me?" I and I'm like, it's not so much I reject you, because being around certain reptilians will just make me angry. I don't like how their energy feels.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that they're bad, which or anything. It's just they have a certain energy, and it makes me react negatively towards me. And he's like, "Why are you rejecting us?" And I'm like, don't want to be around this energy." He goes, "But we have not done any violations. We have honored what we said we would do." And I said, "Thank you for doing that. Congratulations on that."
Well, what
And
was it? What did they say they were doing?
they were just, because I told them, I said, if you want to talk to me, you
Hmm.
have to respect my boundaries. You must be
Okay.
truthful. And if I say it's enough is enough, then it's time is over. And he goes, "Yeah." So we go, we've been honoring
Okay,
that.
sure. Yeah.
So we were talking, and I'm going, "Okay, so what do you want to talk about?" And he goes, "We have a message." I go, "You may proceed." And he gives me the message, and the message is a lot of personal stuff for me that I'm not going to share, but there were some other things in there. And the things I will share was, he said that I said, "Well, who do you work for?" And he goes, "Well, we serve the Alpha Draco. We are not warriors. We are messengers, emissaries, whatever they need. We do that." I'm like, "Okay." And as he's talking more and more, I get all of a sudden, and I start talking to a full Draco, an Alpha Draco. It's a blue. The Alpha Dracos, I see them as more of a bluish color than the other Dracos. And he told me, he goes, "Yeah, we're going to be there next year on your planet." Hello? Okay.
It's Misha's book. So yeah.
Okay, so he says, "Yeah, we're going to be doing coming next year on your planet towards the end of 26."
Hmm.
And I says, "What are you going to be doing?" He goes, "I'm going to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing." And unfortunately, it seems more like a planetary test. So he seems more like, I don't want to say it's going to be an invasion or anything like that, but it's part
Yeah.
of human growth to be able to what the conversation I had with him. I don't know if you ever see Arkeem Ra.
Yeah, I watch our game. Yeah.
Okay, Arkeem Ra has said a couple of times that the Draco come, we have this big old fight, and it ends with basically a noogie telling you, good job, humans.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying to me. Like, yeah, we have to come and test you. You guys, can resist us, saying we can move on, but I have
Yeah.
to test you. So that does mean that, like, because I was trying to figure out, because everything that the ETs have showed me in the last couple of years, I was trying to figure out where everything fits into the timeline or whatever.
Mm.
And I was trying to figure out, well, what would stop World War III? And I thought, well, if the sun goes, that's one thing. But if an
Wow.
actual ET shows up and decides, oh, I want on this fight, let's see what you guys got. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure we would pretty much, I don't know if I don't know if we would actually win, but I know we would put up enough of a fight, and that's what
Yeah.
they want us to do. And once that happens, the humans will grow up, and that's what all the ETs, or let's say all the positive ETs want from us as a species is to grow up. They say you
Mm.
guys are awesome, you can do
Yeah.
so much, but you need to reclaim your power and you need to grow up. That's the
We
biggest thing
just
we want
need
from
to
us.
work together. We're so divided, aren't we?
And it's such an artificial divide too,
Yeah.
because I remember watching growing in the last 20 years times of great opportunity for us to come together, and I'm watching first time we elected Obama. I'm like, this is great, we're doing everything right, and I'm like,
Mm.
4 years later, well, how did we get back here? Where do we go, people? And then
Yeah.
events like this just keep happening. It's like we have these opportunities, and then something just comes along and says, no, 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 go back to your tribe, go back to your tribe. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is horrible. We need to stop this. And I'm like, but if it was an actual ET invasion that happens,
Mm.
then I'm pretty sure that would just shut up everybody, because I do
Like
know
that
that
Mars Attacks movie. You seen that movie?
hopefully less yodeling.
No, I need to rewatch that movie, but I reckon there's some bits in it that make sense. I don't know. So recently, I think the president bombed another country, right? Supposedly missiles and stuff. That wouldn't have been allowed to happen if there was actually missiles there, because every nuclear facility, according to Audrey Walters, has an ET ship above it. Because I used to work at a nuclear facility,
Yeah.
and there was always a big cloud presence in a particular area, and I had it confirmed that that was an ET ship. So there's no way they would have been allowed to bomb that location if there had been real missiles there. That posed a threat. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the message I got last week was, like I said, it was they showed me Trump as a dog wagging its tail, thinking he did a good job on Iran, and
Mm.
then he turns into one of those old cartoon jackasses and says you need to
Yeah.
be paying attention to China.
Yeah. Have
So
you
I
had any
mean,
more insights on that?
um, yeah, because well, after that, after we did the interview, I started getting a lot of visions, and like I said, I don't really watch the news just because
No, I don't. Yeah.
I recently made the mistake of watching some of it, and my blood pressure just went up, and I'm like, nope,
Mm.
nope, this
Yeah.
isn't worth it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was watching, I kept getting messages of was there was a earthquake in Iran, there were sands were red, and some other stuff like that. And then I found out later, I was like, oh yeah, that would be the bunker buster bombs that was dropped. That do cause those. The sands were red and everything. I was like, oh wow, that was a lot. And I was like,
Yeah.
glad I didn't know anything about it. And it was just I kept drawing these people. It was weird. It was like it was like I was remote viewing, and someone just flipped a switch and said, look at this person, look at this person, and look at this person, and look at this
Oh,
person.
okay.
So I drew them as much as I can.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are right now. Actually, I don't even know if I want to be showing those
So I've
pictures.
been told off by Jessica Morocco at the ACIO, because I went through a short period of time where I would close my eyes and I'd just go and I'd be gone somewhere else, and it was like the Zeta Greys or whatever were using me to spy on people.
Yeah, they've done they've done
Yeah.
that a couple times to me as well, and I
Yeah.
had to shut them down.
Yeah, it was really scary because that the main time I literally biolocated into somebody's house. That's how it felt, and they
Yeah.
saw me, so that wasn't good. And then, so I have to be really careful now and know that it's definitely not me. It's definitely not my guides.
Yeah,
So
I had
yeah,
that happen to me once too, because I was, debating whether or not to work with some of the people because I understand they're not all going to be great, and the Earth does have to have people to protect it, and unfortunately, you need sometimes monsters to fight monsters. That's just how that works.
is that most of the SSP? We were the monsters, and now we're
Oh
coming
God, yeah,
forward as the light workers. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. We
yeah,
had to be. You mean
yeah,
like you don't the thing people don't understand is we were out there. We literally
yeah,
crafted an empire that was able to withstand. I
yeah,
mean, it's now being reassembled, and all the after all this time we were out there is finally falling apart just because of all the stuff we were doing. But we managed. We went from literally, World War II people to literally a space conquering people within. See, that's the thing about the time travel. I really hate time travel. It so confuses to it
mm.
really is.
I love
I
the idea of
started,
time travel, being a time lord
huh?
and everything. I love the idea of it, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around other contexts of existence and things like that because I'm quite
Well,
new
yeah,
to
because
those
certain
words.
worlds
And
don't have time,
yeah,
or let's say like they're out of time. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, um, I'm trying to like get my head back to memorying that because I haven't thought
mm.
about the SSP in a while, so I'm a little off about it. I mean,
Okay,
I probably will have more for you next time because
mm.
I've just been out of it. But yeah, I was surprised because when I was talking to that Draco about him coming and just basically doing the invasion, he wasn't like it was a bad. For him. It was like a job. He was literally like an inspector going, "All right, on Tuesday I have to be on this planet. This city has to go. These people have to do it, and if they
Yeah,
win, cool. If not, I move on to the next one." That's what it was for him.
yeah,
And I understand like that can sound terrifying to some people. Like, you mean just like that's what he does all the week? I was like, people don't understand how massive the Draco Empire truly is. Like,
right.
it's a different species, they're a different mindset. I mean, people have had hard enough times coming to terms with of the Afghan war and being over there for like
Yeah,
20 plus years, and people are like, no, you hear these soldiers talk about like, no, they don't view us as human beings. They are
yeah,
literally in the mindset of the 1500s. They are warriors or something like that, and we're trying to go over there. It's not going to work. It's something
mm.
like that for them, for the Draco. It's like they are
Yeah.
warrior people, and they must be treated as such.
So when I was talking with Sean Bond this week, and we're basically just kind of looking into um not so much the SSP, but we were looking into why I can't remember my abilities, and we're trying to unlock my third eye and stuff like that. And there was stuff in my field that was all about the Draco Lyran War. And so there was a lot of stuff that I'm processing. And basically
Because
the Dracos were
yeah, the
eating.
Draco used you to basically do a lot of shit that they really didn't want done. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of, I don't want to say the image I'm getting is the Black Angel.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you could take that where you want it to go,
Yeah.
but usually
Okay.
that's not a good sign. It's not a love and
So
light
okay,
thing.
but get this. This is what he felt into was that the Draco kind of warrior soldiers would eat the Lyran souls and have held them in their stomachs so that the Lyran souls can't be freed. So they're deliberately holding on to the Lyran souls.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you have beings of that dimension that can eat that kind of stuff, they need
Yeah.
that kind of stuff to stay strong. Speaking of strong beings, something else interesting happened to me.
Okay.
Um, Recently I've been having more and more contact with different kinds of mantises. Again, I've recently just
Yeah.
started working with the black mantises. This time, I got contacted by black mantises that were different than the usual ones I work with
Mm.
or work with me. These weren't the ones that were writing the erotic stories.
Okay.
These
You got me off guard there. I love
right,
that from our last video. Absolutely classic. Love it.
right. So
So
these
unexpected. Sorry, Grom.
these mantises are prisoners.
Okay.
They're on Earth. They're in the Southwest. I've been
Oh.
contacting them repeatedly. They refer to themselves as divine prophets.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, that may be true because when I was interacting with them, trying to figure out what's going on, seeing if anything they say is lying or if they're manipulating me in any way, I'm like, cool, cool. Why are you in jail then? And they said, because we are divine prophets and we want out. And I says, right. But what did you do to get in here? I mean, because as I'm talking to them, I can feel the anger and hostility, and I can
Yeah.
feel some of the mental illness. And I'm not sure if that's from them being in locked up for how many decades
Yeah.
they've been locked up, because that'll destroy your mind as well, especially if you're a special being.
Yeah.
And one of the things I learned how to do was I share music with them.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is like if I start making music or if I start watching music, I'll go into a zone and they can literally experience the music as I experience it, plus what they are. And so I was sharing some of the music with them over time, just like because I saw them in this cell, and I'm like, this is not good. I don't want them to, they've been, locked up for decades. And one of the younger mantises says, "Hey, you, put some Marvin Gaye on. He hasn't heard that in a while." And I'm like, "Marvin Gaye? Yeah, put Marvin Gaye on. He hasn't heard in a while." That's before we got locked up. So I'm like, okay, so I go put on some Marvin Gaye, and the oldest Mantis, I don't know how old, I'm not 100% how old he is, but he was a big one. He was a black one. And he went from this like frail, like glazed over person who's been a prisoner who's given up to having life in him again. And I shared it with him. And
That's
he said, thank you.
amazing.
And he shared it with that. So after I did that, then the next day, I did it again. So every time now, I listen to music, whatever, I'll tune in and I can project to all the mantises that I've made contact with,
Hmm.
and we all have the shared experience of the music, and they love it. I mean, because like I said, the mantises have always loved music. Well, good music. Bad music, no one really likes that. That's a given. But
Hmm.
I mean,
So
so
just looking at the map, when you say Southwest, are we talking like Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico?
yeah, that area, that
Yeah.
problem area.
Okay. That's
I mean, I've
interesting.
been to the thing is, I know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
I know the base where they are because the base has tried to recruit me a couple times, and I've been on the base.
Hmm.
But I'm not going to say where exactly
No,
it
no.
is because I don't want my door getting kicked in.
I see on the map where I think it is.
Yeah, you're
I'm
probably
quite good
right.
at map work, yeah.
Yeah, if you're thinking where it is, it's probably where it is. So, and I'm just sharing them this thing with the mantises, and
Yeah.
it's weird. So we were sharing, we did the Marvin Gaye thing. Then the next thing I was just putting on more and more music, and then I put
Hmm.
on what was it? Boys to Men.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I haven't heard them in years. So I just put them on. And the thing is, the Mantises truly do love music. So they're literally lip syncing. Well, they don't not lip syncing, but they're like lip syncing this the performances, like doing the exact movements they are with the
Oh,
Motown
wow.
Philly and all that. So they're doing it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
watching them doing it is hysterical. And they're like, great. And so
Hmm.
what I did was I concentrated more, and I got to share with all the mantises I've ever had contact with. We were all linked up at once,
Hmm.
and we were all sharing. And I was trying to figure out because I wanted to get the mantises out that are locked up. I'm like, how do I get them out? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a little bit more than what I can deal with by myself. And I'm like, so I made sure that the other mantises saw them, and they were like, and they were almost weeping, and they were like, "Oh my God, our people!" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, how do we get them out?" And they're like, "We're working on that one." Apparently, they're doing some negotiations, but I'm like,
Yeah.
it was just such a nice experience to share all that wonderful music with them, and every one of them. I mean, we managed to actually physically hug,
Yeah.
and I get to feel none of their bones. They don't really have them. They have like their
Yeah.
muscles. And it was just a really nice moment of just peaceful coexistence and just sharing a love for music. It was just wonderful. And
Yeah.
they all said thank you very much for that. And they got better. And I've been talking to him more and trying to figure out more. And apparently the older man he hasn't given me his name yet because
Mm.
names for them are very important. So I mean they'll give you like a name that you could pronounce, but their real names, most of the time they keep that to themselves just because they don't
Yeah.
it's important to them. And
I would like to know what one of my names is. I really would.
like I
Because
said,
I
I suck at
never liked my name. Hey?
I'm horrible with names. And that's the one
Yeah, it's
that's
fine.
my
It's
giant
fine.
blank on that will be for
Yeah, it's okay. It's just I've
it,
never liked my earthly name ever. And so I know there must be something there that I resonate with. I don't know.
And it's not just with ETs or any of the memories. Like in life, I have lived where I am for like 2.5 years now. I still forget my neighbors' names.
I don't know my neighbors' names. I do talk to my
Yeah, I
downstairs
talked to them
neighbours,
too, and I'm
but
like,
I really don't know their
I was like,
names.
and I'm trying my hardest not to go, who are you? And
Yeah.
like, but
I
it
don't
was
use, typically I don't use people's names. I don't know if that's like an ADHD autistic thing, but I just don't. If I can not use names, then I will not. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I usually identify people by like a personality quirk or a
Yeah.
fashion thing or whatever like comes in my head
Yeah.
at the time.
And even for you, there's a name, but it's not David, but I don't know what it is.
What
And
does it
there's a
sound like?
name that I would prefer to call you, but I'm not sure what it is yet.
Is it Edward?
No, I don't
Is
know
it
what it
human?
is. Yeah, I think you've got a pet name, but I don't know what it is. So it'll come to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
because
and
David
one of the
doesn't
things
seem.
I do remember
Yeah,
is I do remember working with you in the SSP.
you do.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about it, but as we were talking, that's how it works with me. Like the more
Wow.
I'll talk to someone. Yeah, we had worked together because I valued you as a record keeper.
Okay. I'm getting. Oh, as you say that, I'm getting pains in my head. Okay.
Yeah,
Did
so
I
well,
look the same or did I look totally different?
I remember you having darker hair.
Yeah. When I think of me in Atlantis, I had dark hair. So I know that's an aspect. When I was small, when I was a child, I did have dark hair. It was very nearly black even.
Yeah,
And then
that's how
it's just
I
lightened over
remember. But I do
time.
remember you with not those glasses, but you had like that style of glasses, but they were more black or darker, like a
Okay.
purple. Yeah, but you also
Wow.
had the uniform I remember you in was a gray one.
Yeah.
It was a gray office one, and I
Okay.
remember that I came to you many times, and because you had immense knowledge that we needed.
Right.
I actually do
Wow.
remember even a couple of times we had dinner together, just talking about stuff, and it was really just because I remember you were one
Wow.
of the few people at the time that I could actually converse with.
This explains why there's a pet name for you that I can't remember then, because we've actually had a close friendship. Okay, that makes
Yes.
sense, and that's why we're so cool together. Actually,
Which is very rare
yeah,
in the SSP. I want to be very clear
yeah,
on that one because the
yeah,
SSP or whatever one you want to knock off on, especially friendship is not a
yeah.
main characteristic. It's do your mission, approve and
Mm.
rank. That's what it was.
You know
So
what I'm like though? I have to have certain people around me at certain times. And if you're not there, then you're basically dead to me. But when you are there, then you're part of my routine and I have to make that connection with you. Yeah.
right.
And so if you try not to do things, then I'll find that very difficult. And then it'll go and then you'll just be dead to me. I'll forget about you. But it's like, yeah. So
Don't take
it's
this the wrong way, but I remember you being a real bitch.
yeah.
A real one.
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay. I mean, in
I'm
the best
trying hard
possible
not to
way.
be. I'm very it's very easy for me to tap into dark energies and I really try hard not to do it. So,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
think
my
that's
early
probably
years.
why we got along because I remember just going like, yeah, that's yeah.
These days I try and be really super positive and smiley and happy, but yeah, yeah, I have been known. Oh, but I used to be very proud of that as well. To just be really
I,
blunt and
oh,
yeah.
no, I do remember you being very proud of that. And I remember some stupid cadet came up to you and tried to what did he try? I think he tried to ask you out.
Oh god,
And
no.
oh yeah,
Poor person.
I
Oh
felt
dear.
bad for him afterwards because you
Yeah,
verbally eviscerated him to the point where he was in tears, and
I can imagine.
I think he even tried to kill himself because of how bad you got to him.
Okay, that sounds like me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember laughing at it, going, "Shit, glad you're on my side."
That does sound like me. People generally don't approach me. I don't, you've got some people who'll be like, they'll be on the public transport and everyone, people are talking to them constantly. I just have a dark cloud around me so that people
Lucky
don't
you,
either
you
don't
don't have to
see
share.
me.
Lucky
Yeah.
you.
So either I'm invisible to people around me or there's like an energy that people think, no, I better not go sit near her. Yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
I
I
do
know that
try
can
and be
sound like
really light and positive as well.
I know that can sound like a bad thing, but when you don't want people near you on the train, especially if that's a great thing. It really is, especially if you don't have to
Yeah.
share a seat.
Oh God, yeah. Because I used to travel a lot. I used to do 2 hours of train travel until December, and I would always be sitting alone. Yeah, it's a skill. It's a skill. But yes, oh yeah, super bitch. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Most people watching this will be thinking, no, I just can't imagine. Oh, my
Really? Well, I
family
mean,
would be.
I'm seeing it right now, and I'm like, I see this as a true form of you, but I'm like, wow, she has come a long way. She has got them good.
I've really worked hard, you know, but they still put.
I can
I'm
see
still
that.
a
It
very
shows.
matter-of-fact person. Things have to make sense to me, or I just don't spend the time on it.
You have to understand in the Nacht Waffen, aggression and those kind
Yeah.
of behaviors are rewarded.
Yes. Well,
It's
that
not, we're
makes sense
not
to me.
peaceful, loving people.
Yeah.
We are conquering,
Because for
or
me,
we're
I've always
conquering.
been motivated by money. And for a long time, it's not acceptable to say that you're motivated by money until when I was traveling around and I got a job selling timeshare. Then it's okay to be motivated by money and be like, yeah, money's amazing. And so it's like I've always kind of been out of sync with everybody else for some reason and a
I
little
never
bit more
thought that was
aggressive.
bad. I mean, I was like, well, yeah, money doesn't, the pursuit of money doesn't have to be bad. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to like screw everybody out of it to have all of it. You could just have
Yeah,
enough
it's
and you have
frowned
a comfortable
upon.
life.
When people say, why would you like this job? You're not, you know, you generally couldn't just say, well, I need the money to pay me bills. They wanted it to be something more enlightening, didn't they? Rather, oh, I'm really interested in this one. No, sometimes we just need to do the day to day and get out of there.
And it's like,
So,
bills got to
well,
get paid.
exactly. But now that I'm doing my spiritual business and my job is so cool that I get to talk to like amazing people and that's really fun, very different. Love it.
That's another thing
So,
the ETs have been telling me lately. They
yeah,
keep giving me the message. They go, David, you don't understand how popular you're going to be. Your inboxes are
yeah,
going to be flooded. You need to take this seriously.
yeah.
You'll have to deal with many people. And I said to them, so I have to talk to them? And they go, yes, you have to talk to people, David.
I hear you. Hey, I can help you with that kind of thing. That's not a problem. Um, but we do kind of need to set up your YouTube channel, I think, so that people can
Yeah, yeah.
find you, or a website so people can find
Yeah,
you.
that they're all, I decided to do that once I get back from the conference in 2 weeks when I
Okay.
really, yeah, because
Because there was literally somebody on YouTube that searched for you. And the only video they could find was our first video. And then they
yeah.
commented and said, "I've been looking for a video of David Purcell." Yeah. So
I mean, most of my stuff from what I found is on Rumble.
yeah,
So
but there's not a lot on Rumble. I was talking to Brian about it earlier. So yeah, we need to, because Brian's setting up a platform anyway. So hopefully we'll be able to get everything onto his platform for like, you know, keeping everything safe.
yeah, because I did realize I was like, I really have to get it together because, like I said,
Yeah,
I'm still new to this whole
you
social
say
media.
that, but it's been 2 years and you've got a lot more memories than the majority of people.
Well,
Yeah, so
that being
you're
stupid,
actually like an elder.
oh, God.
You are. See,
I'm like,
I'm coming on the scene quite new, and I've got a few memories, so I'm doing better than some, but you know, yeah,
you'll
we
get
need,
much more back. The more we talk, the more you
yeah,
interact with people that have been part of the programs. That's the easiest way to get the memories back,
yeah,
is to interact with people who have gone through it. That if
yeah,
you can be like, if we can talk, we're lucky to have this Zoom and be able to do
yeah.
that. But if you can physically interact in the same space with them, you'll be surprised how much stuff gets unlocked. That's why a lot of the times they try to keep the SSP people apart. They
Well,
literally
that's something
don't
actually I
want
was
them
thinking
together.
about. Because me and Drago Reid have got this Neuralink connection and everything, and we've literally got implants that are connected and stuff. I think that if we were in the same country, I think we would have found each other sooner, don't you think? Because there would have been a magnetic pull. So that's literally why I'm in the United Kingdom and he's in the United States, because they've had to separate us to try and dampen the energy field between us. Because when we connected on Zoom a few months back, I had masses of energy building. He had goosebumps. It was really like, wow, okay, there's definitely a connection. And then when he got a memory of me come in, it wiped straight out of his mind within seconds.
Yeah.
So we're still being handled, but we've got a similar handling patterns as well as what we noticed, because we both don't sleep and we get the same kind of pain targeting at night time and whatnot. But he's got a lot more of his memories back now, but he's being very careful at what he shares because he's writing books and things like that. He's got his own terminology that he's coming out with and stuff. So he'll be releasing books next year, I think. But he did a great interview on Typical Skeptic the other day. So do take a look at that because it was awesome.
Yeah, that's on my list. I have to do that
Yeah.
one plus the Sean Bond
And
interview.
he's just an amazing fella. He really
Oh
is.
yeah, he
His
helped me
knowledge is outstanding. Yeah.
when I actually he was the first person I was able to contact and help me.
Yeah. Oh,
When I got my
good.
memories back and I saw him, I said I have to contact him, and I contacted him right away. It took actually when we contacted him, there was major problems because we kept getting like separated, like thrown offline. The computers wouldn't work.
Oh, wow.
They were actively trying to keep us apart. And we spoke for like a while, and then he's like, I kind of do remember you. And he was the one who told me, he goes, listen, when you go on Facebook and you put your picture up, make sure you take your glasses off.
Okay.
And I'm like,
yeah, because like, right, so I look very different now because
yeah,
I'm not the pixie kind of person that I should be, and I'm a lot heavier than I should be. So normally I would be much slimmer, but I've gone through a lot of things in the last 5 years. So the SSP version of me is going to be really small and elven-like.
I don't remember that much. I remember you don't being that. I mean, you weren't. You weren't. I don't think you were a size like 2 or anything, but you were not.
Okay, I don't know what size 2 is, but yeah.
Oh,
But
in America we have like size 0, 1, 2, and goes up and everything like
yeah,
that.
we go down to like 8.
Okay.
Anything less than 8 is just ridiculous. So
I mean,
no,
because like, I'm not exaggerating. As soon as you took your glasses off, I got this weird feeling in the back of my head. I remember looking at you,
yeah,
and you were in this lab looking down at all these vials. It was like
okay,
clone vials, and I just
yeah,
remember I actually got a little dizzy because we were like on top of the pathway looking down at that.
right.
I mean, and I've took the reason like I said, because like I can't see anything without my glasses. I am like,
When I take these off on the Zoom, I can't see my eyes. So there's something covering my eyes, right? Can you
yeah.
see?
Well, I took mine off, so I can't see anything.
So there's literally some kind of technology over my eyes.
That one would be, oh, okay. Yeah,
You
that really
see
is a
that?
Draco shield.
Right.
Okay, so I can see it now. You got, okay,
Okay.
so that's what I had one of those too. So what
Okay.
happened, I know what that is. I know what that is.
Okay.
So what happened to me was a couple of months ago, I had these beings come to me. They said they were from basically a galactic court, and they said they were ready to take it out of me. What they took out of me was a psychic shield. It was
Yeah.
it literally looked like if you ever seen the front of a landmine, like a claymore,
No,
it's a
not really.
basically it's a shape, it's a charged explosive like this, and inside
Yeah.
it projects out. They
Okay.
literally had put something in my head of that shape with chains on it and took it.
Right.
And there was a woman, she came to me and she goes, it's time for me to take it out now. You've earned it.
Okay.
And she literally put her fingers through my brain and kept pulling it and pulling it and pulling it and says, welcome back, my love.
Yeah. There's something here. And lately I've been getting something here, but there's something here as you say that. There's something there.
Yeah, that's the psychic shield the Galactic Quartz put in.
Okay.
Because like I said, they don't want they had to make sure that I wasn't going to go rogue or go back to what they were going to do for them to remove it.
Okay.
But I can see because you have the exact same thing I had in me. So it
Okay,
can be
that makes
taken
sense.
out.
Sometimes when I take my glasses off and I look on Zoom, my eyes look dark. And I think,
Mhm.
oh, I must have an attachment, right? But now when I look today, it's just white. There's like nothing there. But I'm okay
You
with the
have 4 in
glasses
your
on.
head.
It's in my head.
Yeah, they have one in the front, 2 in the
Yeah,
back, and 1 on the side. And there's something on the very base of your
that makes sense.
right side. That's where they
Yeah.
have it. So
Okay, I get a lot of trouble on that right neck shoulder area. A lot of trouble.
there's something in there that's not supposed to be there.
And then after we had our first session, it was this something was coming in attached to the light grid. And I worked with Phil Barrow and he was like removing whatever was there because it was affecting this part. It was like, 7 of 9. It was like
Yeah,
that. Like I had that augmentation or something on. It was really
it's
weird.
an inhibitor.
Yeah, oh, an inhibitor, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that shows you how powerful you actually are, that they had to
Yeah.
go through that much to block you.
Well, I really felt low. I felt so low that I had to get my friend to do a session with me, and it was just, yeah, because normally my energy is overpowered all the time, and that's why I wear my violet flame. It calms me down, and when I take this off, it's like massive and unstable. Because this is Guanyin energy, it calms me down. Chinese goddess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting. Oh, there was something else I forgot.
I do remember you. We were actually. I remember, we were friends, and I respected you very much. So, like,
Yeah,
it wasn't just for years. I think you were kind of at the. I'm getting to the thing that you were there when the SSP started to be reshaped.
yeah,
Like that's what, because okay, so
yeah.
yeah, all right, which is interesting.
Do you think you, me, and Christy Campbell were friends?
Well, I know me and Christy were friends, or the
Yeah.
all of us and Christy and friends.
Christy should be available hopefully in the next 10 days. Maybe next Friday she might be available. I think she was going away. So I did reach out and she said, yeah, she'd love to come on.
Yeah, I have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
What day is that? Because if it's the 14th, I won't be here
Um,
that week.
oh, okay. I'll make a note. I'll have to check the dates. Yeah.
Because the 14th is a conference in Florida.
Yeah, of course. Well, she's also there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was planning to meet her as well.
Yeah. Because you're both on the panel, aren't you? The
Yes,
SSP panel.
yes.
Yeah. That should be really cool.
Yeah, I was.
My friend Soma Arar, she's coming to America for the first time. She's doing a talk. She's on the Galactic stage on Wednesday, I think it is. So I'm just helping her with some publicity for that. So it'd be great for you guys to meet because she's a Palladian channel. Yeah.
It was funny. A couple months ago, Audrey had on her channel. She had this was it Lyran Channeler or Lyran? I forgot her name, and it
Oh,
was yeah.
I
It
think
was
I
the
know the
weirdest.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the weirdest feeling. Was I watched the interview for like 5 seconds, and I started hissing and getting
Oh,
really angry, but it wasn't like a
wow.
hateful angry. It was just like a weird sister vibe. Like she's oh,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I look over and my Lyran guide is laughing hysterically at me and goes, "Oh, you two never got along," and I'm like,
Wow.
"Really?"
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Because I think the Lyran energy is coming out really strong right now, and people are picking up on it for me more and more.
yeah.
Whereas I knew it was there, but I know I've had the Lyran skin grafts because of one of the science projects I was in. There was a disaster, so an aspect of me has had those skin grafts, which has upgraded my DNA across all aspects apparently.
Okay,
Um,
the memory I just got back now. Me and you were walking on the base, one of the bases, and just talking,
yeah.
and a group of 5 people tried to attack you.
Okay.
Uh, they were, I don't want to say prisoners that had managed to get loose,
Yeah.
but I dealt with them most quickly, and you dealt with one of them, and you kind of scrambled his head to the point where I was like, "That's what you get for messing with her. You should know that."
I kind of feel like we didn't have many friends, you and I.
No,
Kind of
no, we
feel like
really
it was
didn't.
just
Like,
us most of the time. Yeah.
I'll be very honest. You
But we
don't
were
get to
quite
the top
content
of
with
an
that.
organization. You don't get to be that, an officer with many friends. You need to have,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and that's part of the thing is, like I said, we've had these amazing lives, literally hundreds of thousands, maybe thousands of lives, and we had these super immense bodies and brains that were genetically modified. Then we're slapped back down here with these broken bodies and have
Yeah.
to redo all the damage. And we're like, oh, why do you like? And then we're like, oh, I feel bad because I had to did all that stuff. And I was like, yes, I generally feel bad that I did all
Yeah.
that stuff, but part of me is like, it was fucking awesome doing that kind of stuff as well, but it was also really remorseful. And I
Yeah.
had apparently every star seed person that goes through a program has a couple group of watchers that are attached to them that record every single thing they do. And they've been
Yeah.
talking to me more and more. These are bluish gray beings that are wearing more of like a dark blue uniform. And they've
Okay.
talked to me, and one of the things they asked me, they go, "May we talk to you?" And I go, "Sure." And they go, "We want to know how come you seem so remorseful for what you did, but you actually have like joy and pride in that. We don't understand
Mm,
that." And I explained to them, I go, well, humans are a complex species. I mean, we did do, like I said, from what we were to what we became, that's an
mm,
amazing feat of power that we made. But what you actually have the morals and the empathy and stuff like that. And like, I feel really bad that the stuff I had to do, or the version of me that had to
yeah.
do it. It's time travel again and cloning, just problematic. And they were like, okay. And I was like, by the way, I want you to be very clear on this one. That is not an excuse for you to do what I did. You don't have to go, don't do that. Like, learn from my mistakes. And they go, so like I said, do as I say, not as I do, that kind of thing. And they're like, okay,
Mm.
we weren't going to conquer anything. I just have to say that because I don't know when some species going, well, he did it and he said it worked out for him. So let's go do it for that. I'm like, no, just don't do it.
I'm getting pain down this side of my head. I think there's like recall coming in now. And I do have one impression, and I kind of feel like I'm in a lab doing something, and that you're there, and I'm like, you better not touch that kind of feeling. Because you're like waiting for me, and that's the kind of feeling that I'm getting now.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah. Like there's creatures also, which is a bit weird because I thought,
Well, you're a
yeah,
geneticist lab in a
yeah,
supernatural lab. Of course, there's going to be creatures there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that's really cool. Thing is, a few months back, I've probably said this already, but I knew when I was kind of digging into the SSP and I was talking to them and talking to the ACIO, and I said to Jessica, I've always felt like there's somebody that knows me. Something's missing, but there's somebody that knows me really. And then she said to me, "Do you know Drago Reid?" And then so I kind of got the feeling that he knows me, but it's not that he knows me, it's that he's part of me. I actually feel like you know me
Hmm.
from today. Yeah, you're the one that knows me, like who I am really. So he's just part of me. He's in a way he's a sibling, but we've been raised as like twin pair.
Hmm.
That functions together and amplifies the energies together. But yeah, it's really interesting talking to you about this day because I actually feel like, oh, you get me. You get the darkness.
That's it. Okay. Speaking of getting in darkness,
Yeah,
couple like last week, I encountered a very, very negative gray.
yeah.
Um, oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't last week, it was in the last couple of weeks. What
Mm,
had happened was he was showing me, or he or they were showing me a whole bunch of horrible acts that they've committed, from ritual
mm,
abuse to everything like that.
yeah,
And he says to me, he goes, "You understand the darkness. You
yeah.
understand us." And I'm like, "Yeah, I understand you, but it's gotta stop." And he goes, "Why? Why does the violations have to stop? I can do it. It
Mm.
feels good." And that's when I realized that this being was literally so starved for sensation that he was literally hurting people just to feel.
Ah, okay.
And I'm like, well, yeah, he goes, why is it wrong for me to do this? Because I can do it. I'm strong enough to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
you have done horrible things too, but you truly understand it. I'm like, yeah, I understand it. I also understand it's going to stop. So, and he was just like, well, when this conversation's over, I'm like, yes, please, let's have this conversation be over because I don't want to talk to you right now. But
Oh,
yeah, it was just like that
yeah.
they had evolved to a point where they
Mm,
had removed or lived so long that they couldn't feel anymore. And the
mm,
fact that they were had the power over other beings and can do all these violations, that to them was a real thing. I'm like, wow,
yeah.
you guys went really off the rails.
Mm. So, what are you sketching? Because mine's just notes. Mine's all notes. What are you sketching?
Oh, weird symbols. I'm sketching two birds together.
Can I see the symbols?
Oh, yeah, sure. I have nothing too much.
Because I love sigils. I do a lot of sigil magic. Can't really see. Oh, okay. Do you write like language?
I'm apparently I do. I didn't know it was that.
Because that
I
feels
get
like Arcturian just popped into my mind. Something
yeah.
on the page there.
Hold on, let me get something. Yeah. Hold on. I'm here. I gotta do something about my shiny head.
really hot in here. I've got no fan and I've got a light over my head, and it's just,
Oh, you look fine.
I'm sweating away.
In my head.
Oh yeah.
I have like an entire sketchbook.
It looks a bit like
stuff.
Klingon.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, they every time if I talk to certain people, I'll just start channeling stuff and start writing down.
Yeah, no, I get it now. I like it.
Yeah.
Have you had a card reading from Christy Campbell when she pulls out the light language cards?
Actually, I've never actually had a session with her yet.
Oh, you should. Oh, she's good. She's really
I know
interesting.
she's really good.
Yeah. So you can say things and she'll like feel into it. Although she's got this deck of cards, and I call it the dark cards, because it's all about, you know, the mother castle thing and the you know, not the naughty stuff.
They keep giving me these signals, and I just draw them over and over, and I'm learning to differentiate between different species and different signals.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have a clue what they mean. I know sometimes they make me feel good, and sometimes they make me feel really, really angry.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, Christy could probably help you decipher what, because she doesn't always know what they are either. She just has to get them out. She doesn't actually read them. Sometimes she puts on a keyword of what she believes it could be. I work a lot with sigils, and they're conscious keys. So it's like, it could be, if it's not just one set language, if it's an ancient symbol, it might have a message for you, just that particular symbol that you're writing over and over. So you need to think of it as conscious.
Well, one of the things when I first started doing it was the Mantises called it they called it a cartouche, not a cartouche. What's the Egyptian one? It looks like an oval, and then
I don't know.
Huh?
But the cartouche is like what they put on the papyrus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kept calling it that, and then there's I noticed that when the when I'm talking with the reptilians, my drawings will be much more jagged and pointed and more like lightning bolt shaped and harsh, as opposed to if I talk to another one, will be a different being. And sometimes they'll just send me pictures, and sometimes they'll even like I said, I told the story before about how sometimes the mantises will use their it's basically a giant phone booth to project consciousness into it. And I showed them some of my drawings, and I'm like, what were you guys trying to tell me? And they go, that wasn't us. And I'm going, so what did and they go, so I go, so what did you have, like your cat just walk across the keyboard? And they're like, we don't have a cat. But they look at it going, I don't know what that is.
You know, in Captain Marvel, they've got that cat, but it's the alien and it's got the things coming out.
Yes.
Could be one of those. I don't know. That's funny. Hey, is there a TV show that you watch that you find quite activating in the past? Or a movie?
Actually, what I used to do was I used to watch the History Channel back when it was a History Channel, not when it was the Ancient Aliens Channel in porn stores.
Okay.
This was back in, like, I'll say 2008 or somewhere in 2010. I'd watch that show and whatever they were doing, and I would flash back to a past life I had there. Like if they were talking about Russia or India or Japan or Korea or whatever, I'd go like, oh, I'll flash back to that. As far as ET activation for shows, see, that's the thing. I don't really watch TV anymore.
Yeah, I don't watch anymore. But growing up, I watched a lot of sci-fi, which makes sense now.
Yeah.
But yeah. But this,
for
me, Star Wars was a big no-no. I just couldn't get into it. Even now, I think I need to try and
actually,
sit down
you know what, you're right.
it.
Recently I did start I recently started watching some old school anime from like the 80s and 90s, the cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the weapons and the psychic force, and I'm like, I did that. I know that one, and that some of that stuff triggered it. Like it would be, I would have like these memories of like doing the missions and stuff. I mean, I recently got a memory back. It was one of the final missions I did. It was a simple assassination. We were off planet. The guy wanted this guy who was dealing in real estate, but he was married to his daughter. The terms were very simple. Get rid of the guy. Do not hurt the girl. That was very simple. I remember putting in the suit, being put in the suit, a robotic, not a robotic, like
the Halo suit.
Yeah, I remember doing a Halo jump.
Yeah.
And I remember jumping down and gliding down without a parachute. I
Okay.
remember getting my gun, locking up for my shot, and taking the shot. I remember seeing him through the window of the house.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I underestimated the thickness of the glass.
Oh
So
dear.
when I
Yeah.
shot him, he went down, but he went down behind his couch.
Right.
And I lost visual of him. So I remember I had to literally get my stuff, go in and make sure he was done.
Mm.
But when I got there, I saw his wife or girlfriend at the time, and she was covering him, like covering him. And I
Yeah.
thought because of my abilities that there was this like a little bit of a spot that she had arched that I was going to shoot them and be this awesome guy.
Yeah.
I didn't. I got pistol. I remember that she blew
Yeah.
my shot. And I remember getting so pissed off that I just unloaded my entire gun on them all and burned the
Wow.
house.
Mm.
And I remember when I got
Sounds
back to
fair.
bed, huh?
It sounds fair.
Yeah,
Just a
well,
normal
yeah.
day.
Like, I had a great shot. You ruined it, damn it.
Yes. Oh, no evidence, no evidence. Let's just
So
go.
what happened was, because how high priority the target was and how much I screwed up, when I get back, they basically had to make a quick clone of me just to kill it, and then they put me off
Okay.
mission.
Okay, that's weird.
Well, here's the thing,
So
because
why would they punish you by making a clone and killing it? That doesn't make sense.
okay, so what happened was I had screwed up,
Yeah.
and punishment was for death when you screw up. But because the person that I was of
Yeah.
value to the organization,
Mm.
they decided, look, we got to save face. You screwed up royally. We're gonna have this dude's quick clone, have it killed. Then you're off mission. You can't go back. And after that's pretty much when I started to like realize that I needed to change.
Yeah.
Um, I
Did
got
you leave
contact
me behind, David?
probably. Sorry, you're here now. You caught up.
You were gone, you were dead to me, and I moved on. So it's
Yeah,
fine. Yeah. We found each other now.
yeah, but yeah. I mean, so what happened? I don't know if have you heard of Carl? I don't remember his last name.
Not sure.
He's also speaking at the conference.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, anyway, he has a story about his trauma twin and how they experienced life through and everything like that.
Oh, I'm not familiar. Let me check. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
on.
his name's Carl. He's from Canada, I think.
Okay. I'll check them out.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I saw him the first time I met him, I met him online. I had
Mm.
this sickening feeling in my stomach of just utter repulsion. Not that
Yeah.
he's a bad person. It was more of
No.
a, it was more of like, from my point of view, though, like, shit, I didn't think I'd ever see that guy again.
Mm.
So what happened
Yeah.
was tells the story of how when he was a child, he was bonded with another child.
Yeah.
Okay, that child was me.
Right?
But the thing was, I wasn't a child. I was in the SSP, Nacht Waffen or Kruger at that time.
Yeah.
I remember getting in contact with the Mantises, and they wanted to see if I could actually be reworked or rehabilitated or was worth
Yeah.
it. So they de-aged me into the child, and then they bonded me with him. Then the SSP, after we were together for a couple of years, the SSP decided they wanted me back. So they faked my death and brought me out and re-aged me
Right.
back to the other body.
Yeah.
So it's a really messed up thing that we did, and I realized all the disgust and shame I had was because as much as it was important to Carl, to me it was just a mission. Like the whole point, it was like I was literally playing a role, and for him it meant a lot more, and I felt really bad about that.
Yeah. I don't see him on the list. Let me find out. I'm probably missing it.
Well,
But that's
they have like a lot of
interesting.
people this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you were bonded to somebody of the same sex as well. Because like me and
Yeah.
Drago were bonded because we're both got Time Lord DNA. So they took they made super soldiers from us as well. So that's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Interesting.
I was talking to Brian a what Brian saying about that,
Mm.
and he was saying like, Kruger has this a policy where they can, rape their females, and I go, it's not just the females, it's anybody weaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, it's
So I have two memories of Brian. I have a memory of him from Atlantis, where he was a dragon rider, like a dragon warrior, all dressed in black, black dragon, a little bit dark. And I kind of felt like maybe I was in a temple priestess and I'd sneak out to see him because he was super cool or something. And then I have a memory of him from ET Classroom from school, where we might have both been, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old, and the room was very, very bright and everything was very glass-like looking. And I just remember trying to be there, and then he's next to me, and that's kind of what I remember. But he's got no memories whatsoever.
yeah, I know. It's kind of frustrating because like
Yeah,
I remembered him right away, and I'm like telling him what he did on the ship where I was part of and where he
yeah,
was, and he's like, I have no memory of that whatsoever, man. I'm like,
yeah,
he goes, "But everyone remembers me. He's like, I show up a lot. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I'm
And
wondering
I
if there's,
have permission to talk about Brian's testimony and Drago's as well, because we're
yeah,
bonded
actually,
in
no,
the merge. Yeah,
I'm
because
wondering if I should have said anything about that Carl thing. I didn't have to discuss that
that's
with
okay.
him.
I don't even find him on the list. So are you sure his name's Carl?
Okay, in this life it was, but
But
yeah,
that's
no.
okay. That's okay. But no, but that's part of your testimony is that you know him. So that's that's interesting, isn't it? So me,
Well, see that.
Brian, and Drago are bonded because of this merge, which is what the ACI call it when they rescued us from the Monarch, from the Umbrella programs. So they basically reassigned us to their own programs with
Yeah.
Kruger. But they're trying to make it sound like we're refugees and they did us a favor, but really they just reprogrammed us and put us in other programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, I know I was an officer in Kruger. I've had that much verified.
Mm.
I actually did meet the head of Kruger once, and I gotta say, it was the first time I remember actually being scared. I thought I was gonna die, and it was just a weirdest thing because I was going through the memories of coming back, so I wasn't emotionally here. I was like down and just out of it, and all of a sudden he shows up in my room
Wow.
and just pops in there and starts talking to me. And then I like, this is I'll be 100% honest. This was like literally probably one of the few times in my life I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And it was just, it wasn't that it wasn't that he was an ET or anything like that. It was just a very powerful human.
Mm.
And the weird thing was I remember him saying to me, he goes, "You really don't remember me, do you?" I goes, "Wow, they did such a job on you.
Mm.
You," and he goes, "You were part of it. I mean, you were helping me start the damn thing, and you don't remember any of that." And he got really, really upset for a little bit. But
Yeah.
then he had this weird thing where he had enough respect in me that to leave me be. And he before he walked away, he looked at me and said, "You know, if you want a spot, all you have to do is ask." And I said, "Thank you. No, I have to be here now."
Yeah.
And he just walked away. But it was just one of those
It,
things that was just,
it's really difficult, isn't it? It's like, because I relate everything to movies and TV, and it's like that the movie The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis.
you like
You've
that
seen that
movie?
movie?
Congratulations. I have very few people even know that movie exists. I own it on DVD.
Oh, I love it. So she thinks she's like a regular housewife and she's got no
I know
memories, right? And then she's like, so she's chopping, and then she thinks, oh, great, I
yeah, the
must be a
chopping and
chef.
the
But really, she's an assassin.
I
And
know.
I love that movie. I was obsessed with that movie for a long time. There's a whole period of my life when I was really into that movie. And I think it was the
Congratulations. I am
time.
so happy to meet another person who likes that
Oh
movie.
yeah, yeah. You can
Most people
totally
don't
love
even
that
know it
movie.
exists.
Yeah, no, love it. But it's the frustration, isn't it? So she didn't know who she was, but there's people around her and they're looking at her like, well, who are you? Like, what have you become?
Yeah.
You think you're a housewife? That's ridiculous. So there must be all of that going on with all of us. It's like
Oh,
we
there
used to
is. I
be
mean,
these people, these awful people, and now we're just,
not.
we're not. We're not those people.
Yeah, I can tell you, I've had ETs come to me
Yeah.
and they have tried to fight me and they had their weapons drawn and they're looking at me going, "You're not going to do anything now, are you?" And I'm like, "So did they tell you anything about me or anything like that?" They
Yeah.
go, "Yeah, they told us, they said that you were mind controlled and you were not done everything, but we remember what you did." I go, "So are you going to gun down an unarmed man in his basement right now?" And they're like, "Bastard, motherfucker," and they just start can't think. It was like, I go, "You're not going to do it, are you?" And they go, no, I'm not a monster like you. And I'm like, I'm not the monster either. I was taken to, and I explained to them and they go, we don't want to hear it. We know what you did. We could see it. And those eyes are the same person.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then do what you're going to do and get on with it. Cause I have stuff to do.
So if we were like raised in captivity and that's just the way things were, then that's the way it was. And we didn't know any different. Right.
But yeah, and like I said, I still feel bad for them. And part of the things the Mantis has said is, yes, you can have because you genuinely do feel remorse for what you've done or was done.
Yeah.
You can have an opportunity to present itself where you can make it right. And I'm like, cool. And it says, but you have to, says not, they said now, not right now. Right now, you need to heal and recover when the opportunity happens. And they've been like trying to get me in a position for years. I mean, years to get me going. And I'm just like, are you sure? Trust us, will work out, but it'll take them like around. They think around maybe around when I hit 53 or something like that. I think I'll be ready.
Okay.
Which, if I did the math right, which I probably didn't because again I suck at math.
Me too.
That should somewhere be around the 2030s.
Okay.
Which is when I said that the humans finally get it together.
Yeah.
So if everything works up in that alignment, that'll be great. And it was weird too, because recently I got shown an image of the future. I think it's the future. And it seemed like I had grandkids. But what had happened was the father of the kid was telling them about me and my wife and my life. But what had happened, it seems like there was a split on Earth. And there literally seems to be two different dimensions.
Yeah.
It's like solid dimensions. Like there just seems to, like the people that were able to rise up literally live in a different dimension now. And the ones that are below us, but that couldn't go it, to those people, we seem like ghosts or they've deteriorated mentally.
Wow.
They can't really perceive us or go forward. And I'm like, and he's telling me, he goes, Grandpa David did these amazing things and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. Grandpa David. I'm not Grandpa.
Grandpa David.
It's like, yeah, Grandpa David.
Hey, you're young. I'm 50 this year. You're young. So, yeah, that's mad. But it's like, as soon as we start to recover information, I just seem to go into grief. There's like, you're processing grief. It's, it's hard. You think, okay, that sounds great. Oh, so I was on a ship and I was in a lab and I was holding a severed arm, which is an image that I have. But then you think, oh, that was my life.
You severed that arm.
Yeah, that was gross, right?
Yeah, when you severed that arm, yeah.
And it felt fascinating though. It felt like it was just very matter of fact, but the work is fascinating, right?
Oh yeah, like I said, that's what I've been saying before. I mean, there's a definite duality. There's like, yes, we were doing these awesome things. We were these powerful beings. Yes, they were horrible, but then we have to come back to the reality of, oh, that really was horrible, and I feel horrible about that. And if I could do it differently, I don't think I would have.
Yeah. So it's like you've got these, your body's trying to reconcile it. So your body's trying to think, okay, what does that mean? I've got this memory now. So what do I do with it? So then you start to energetically process the grief through the body.
That's why I tried to advise you about going slow with getting your memories back, especially if you were a scientist. And
well, Drago said that I'm getting my memories back this year because it was literally in the files that they'd be coming back this year, and same kind of thing for him. Like we've been remote viewed into the future, so they know when we're going to get our memories back, which is, I think that's really bizarre.
I was talking to Robert a few months ago when I did an interview with him, and I was telling him, I said, well, they said in the next few months, what happened was I got two high SSP officers coming to me one day, and they said, because of you, and this is just after I had gone through a whole bunch of emotional shit of healing and trauma and everything else. They said, because of you, people are going to get their memories back. So feel good about that.
Yeah.
And I says, cool, but what about me? He goes, oh yeah, you got a long ways to go, but just know that because of what you went through and you proved that you could handle it, they've showed to the people that they can handle their memories back.
Yeah. I mean, the conversations that we're having is so important because, and Brian's saying is all full disclosure now, and I agree, it is important that we share, and just us talking shit basically is going to activate other people. and
Yes.
because we're activating each other as we're talking, and I can feel it. And my heart knows, my heart is activating when I talk to you today in a big way. And
I watched your energy going up and down and fluctuating.
yeah,
A couple of times we said it just expanded. I'm like, what's going on? Put it back in there.
yeah, so it's all over the place. And
But when you get that psychic plate removed,
yeah,
your senses are going to be so overwhelmed. So just give yourself time for that. Give you
yeah,
you're really going to need to you're basically starting with a brand new body.
yeah,
So like your vision, your sense of taste, your sense of smell, your sense of touch, anything you have is going to be up to the thing. It'll go
yeah,
down over time. Just be patient. Talk to people you can. I mean, be with people who you feel comfortable with. And
yeah,
also as your abilities go back on, there are going to be people who you just cannot be around anymore. Um, I'm
yeah, I
sorry to
get
say
that.
that that's just how that works. It's just like
Yeah. I've already started shedding in the last 2 years people around me. And unfortunately, one of those people was my husband. So
yeah.
I'm trying to get a divorce at some point, because we just energetically couldn't match. And I could start to see the handling involved and the love bite situation and that kind of thing now. So, yeah, so I've been separated for nearly 2 years. And, he's a nice person and everything, but I couldn't do it anymore. So a lot's happened for me in the last 2 years, and I'm still slowly making progress.
I mean, you should
Relationships are not my thing, but hey,
neither are mine. I mean, but I'm just
no,
saying,
yeah,
take it. It's okay to appreciate your wins. Like I've
yeah,
learned that it's very important just to take time and say, "Oh, okay, I have accomplished a lot," because
yeah,
I didn't realize that because I kept just going. All my life, it was just keep going, keep going, keep going. I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it
yeah,
later. Later finally happened, and I have to deal with it. I'm like, can I push it a little bit more? And I'm like, no, you really got to deal with it. And I
yeah,
was like, it's really uncomfortable. I really want to push it away. And
yeah,
they're like, no, you have
yeah,
to deal with this.
yeah. Because I processed in the last 2 years, I processed a lot of cosmic rage, and there's still a lot in the body. I know
Oh, of course there is. You haven't even look. Yours was just the equivalent of a tea kettle going off. That's nothing
right,
else. It
right,
was just the
okay.
steam you felt, not the actual boiling water.
But my problem was I didn't have the knowledge and experience to understand what I was feeling, what emotions were. So I literally had to work with somebody, and he could say to me, okay, I feel this in your body, and I feel that in your body, and let's
Wow.
release it together. Let's breathe it out. Let's process it. So, and that cost me a lot of money to do that kind of work. So now I've got more command. I still might not understand what I'm feeling, but I run through a list of commands to exit it from the body.
Yeah.
Giving it enough energy, respectfully, gently, to process the energy. So I do
Yeah.
work that way now, because I'm still a bit of a robot.
And they keep telling me, it goes like, David, you have to feel your feelings. And that's how you have to get through them. I'm like, they're uncomfortable. I don't
I
want to.
don't, I don't, I don't agree anymore, because when you're in the quantum healing kind of side of things, just giving it attention, giving it energy is
Well,
enough to
yes,
process it. Yeah,
I agree with you now, but now
yeah,
that I've gone through the process and have healed,
yeah,
I'm like, yes, that was the right thing to do.
yeah,
Before that, I'm like, no, 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 we're not doing that.
yeah. So I mean, I say to everyone, the heart healing is really important. Otherwise, your energy can't pass through the body properly, of course. But there's ways to do it that doesn't have to be re-traumatizing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
one of the things that helped me heal a lot was I had a puppy. I had two puppies.
yeah,
They were silver labs. It's my first time having a purebred dog. I'll never have
yeah.
a lab again. I guarantee it, no matter how much love I give them. I love them. There is just something wrong with the breed. It's
Okay.
just, but the amount of love that the two puppies were able to give me, they truly healed me a lot.
Yeah,
They eventually drove me insane and my family, and we had to get rid of one of them, but the other one is a true keeper.
yeah,
But that just being of love and present, that helps a lot.
yeah.
Another
I
thing that really
agree.
helped
Yeah,
me was actually a simple thing of just because prior to like I was in a really bad spot for 6 7 years, or like a
mm,
horrible depression. Like just
yeah,
I had lost everything of value to me, and it was just I would literally wake up from sleeping pissed off that I didn't die at night. That's how bad I
right.
was. And one of the things I found that actually worked was being present in the body. I mean, like just getting like a simple like 10-minute massage.
that literally helped because I hadn't been, I was so isolated. I hadn't had human contact for years. And just
Yeah.
being present in there for just a few minutes and not knowing under attack, that really helps a lot. Then I also had to learn how to, find out what foods work for me because certain foods will raise your vibration, certain foods will lower your vibration.
Yeah.
And you had to do, and then there would be times where I would be, so high vibration that I would be in so much pain because the whole world was messed up and you were like realizing, I'm like, I can't deal with this. Just let me have some junk food and bring my nervous system down. Another
Well,
thing
I'm on the Pepsi, aren't I? So that's
that,
but I've started to notice that I am starting to eat light now. I am starting to really feel like I'm absorbing the light and energizing myself and not thinking about food. And yeah, so something's definitely changed. That shift is there to process the light.
the other thing that really helped me was when I moved here, I joined the YMCA and they have a pool. It's a public pool. It's a nice pool, except for the senior citizen class, because if you go swimming after them, the water tastes like old people, which I don't recommend. So just that one, but generally that helped a lot. And one of the things was funny because I was in the pool swimming and I noticed that there were a lot of reptilians around me, and they were the ones that were watching me, and they were in such disgust. Now, my first thought was, yeah, I get it. It's a public pool. It's not that bad. But it wasn't that because of the fact that their species doesn't handle water very well. The fact that I was submerging into it, they were like, "What's wrong with him?" And I'm feeling better now. Just like I said, just as long as there's no old people before me, because the water tastes really weird after that.
Oh dear, that's bad.
All right.
Oh, that's really funny. Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to share before we finish?
Just that you can see me and a bunch of other really talented people at the Full Disclosure Conference in Florida. And you can go to the website, Full Disclosure, I believe, .live. Tickets are still available. We're having a multi-day pass. There's a nice hotel there, and it's going to be a great time for everybody there. So
are you going to be at the evening meals as well?
I plan to.
VIP
There's
meals.
food there. I'm hungry.
Yeah, so people will be able to sit and have dinner with you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that'd be really awesome. Yeah, Brian's put the schedule out on Facebook. I think it's an almost finalized schedule. So people
I
can
saw
take
my
a
picture
look at
on there.
that.
I'm like, oh my God, it's really happening.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Oh, this has been great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And hopefully we can do this again. I'm just gonna bombard you. And I get very excited about our sessions. And now I know why.
Thank you.
You can tell.
I didn't. I had a feeling we knew each other, but I didn't understand that. You were one of the few friends I actually had in the SSP.
You know what it looks like in my mind? Like in Star Trek Next Generation when they're in 10 Forward and they're just kind of sitting hanging out. That I get that kind of image in my mind, or in Voyager, when they're sitting in the mess and having food. Yeah.
It was funny that you mentioned that because the first memory I actually got back was of me, Joseph Powell, and my other crews laughing in a mess hall.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, he's one of the few people I've tried to contact that I can't get a hold of, and no one can.
I think I've seen some of his stuff, and I don't think I liked it.
I
think it was pretty dark.
That's kind of what
I had a reaction to it. Yeah. So it's not for me yet. I'm still trying to come to terms with. I did email Arkeem Ra. I've not heard back yet, but I might be ready to talk to him soon because I've got a couple of memories with him in it. But I don't know. Okay. Slow and steady. But this has been brilliant. Thank you so much.